So I'd like to welcome our final solo speaker of the morning to the stage. We've got, talking about multiplayer 101, your ideal tech stack. We've got Larry Rye from Unity. Larry, come on up.
So, hi everyone. We're here today to talk a little bit about mobile multiplayer 101, so the tech stack that involves what fantastic games you guys build and the experiences you build as well. So, I'm Larry Rye. I head up the global solution engineer architect team. My name has changed, or my title has changed so many times in the last 2 years, it's hard to keep track. But anyway, basically we look after the end-to-end customer journey from a technical perspective, right from like, hi, how's it going, through to we'll build it and implement it for you. So I've got a lot to cover, so I'm not going to go over the agenda, I'm just going to dig straight in. And the first part I'm not going to cover in any great detail, don't worry, I won't. We all know where we've come from a history of games, but there are some landmark developments in the history of multiplayer that I would love to call out before we dive in. And that's because when it comes to multiplayer games, the industry, the players, and the developers' needs have all grown and changed drastically over the last few decades. Let's look all the way back to when I've been playing video games for about 3 years. Yes, I am getting old now, but I was around the age of 8 and the world of gaming was about to change very drastically. As much as the slide here outlines the 90s as the LAN and couch co-op sort of era, there were many trailblazers that helped to shape the experiences we all enjoy today. Dial-up internet, the mess that it was, opened up the world to a whole new set of possibilities. And I remember playing Doom, Command & Conquer, Age of Empires, Warcraft. I mean, the list really does go on, but even to like Counter-Strike, the Half-Life mod that was before the global phenomenon that was Counter-Strike, we played these on dial-up internet and it was atrocious, like lag, jitter, all over the place, but it was a brand new thing for us to experience. LAN parties certainly were the place to enjoy many of these titles at their best. And as internet infrastructure began to improve in the mid to late 2000s, broadband was becoming more prevalent and online gaming was becoming much more accessible than it ever was before. So new games sort of appeared on the horizon at this point, and we had Counter-Strike, which was not a mod anymore, but it was a real game now. We had Dota, World of Warcraft, RuneScape, Call of Duty. Again, the list goes on, but these are the franchises we still play today. And by the 2010 era, we all started to have these devices in our pockets sold as mobile phones. They were destined for so much more than just communication device. They became this tiny device, well, even tinier now, but they allowed you to start playing video games. They started out as being sort of these hyper-casual type games, but they've started to evolve. And we saw this transition most recently from moving from asynchronous to synchronous type games. And they became these real-time gaming online. So you've got your Fortnite mobile, Call of Duty mobile, I'll drop the mobile, Shadowgun, PUBG, and then Among Us most recently. They've started a whole new mobile gaming revolution. And as we step into now, we're taking the tentative steps towards new emerging technologies such as VR and AR. Metaverse is the newest buzzword even, and we finally have cross-platform gaming as a reality. And we've got some really exciting pieces of technology that can empower you to focus on the fun as you build your new games, and I'm going to take you through some of those here as well today. So let's talk a little bit more about the rise of mobile gaming. With the pandemic we're all living through, people are looking for safer ways to connect with one another, and gaming for many became that safe space. With previously non-gamers looking for new experiences during the pandemic and lockdowns, we saw a monumental increase in online players. New gamers and gamers alike were discovering new ways to connect with one another, and I've got a little bit of data around that because data is always interesting. And in the recent study that we conducted with the Harris poll, it is focused on the Americas territory, we found some really insightful nuggets of data. 56% of Americans are multiplayer gamers. 91% of those are playing at least once a month, 79% once a week, 32% playing every single day, guilty as charged, I love games. And with 71% of that gaming taking place actually on mobile devices, with console and PC obviously coming in at a close second. And for the first time, true crossplay was being achieved between PC, console and mobile, with the audience taking their games with them on the go, at least when they could go outside. The divide between mobile and PC console gaming is edging closer to not being a choice of platform anymore. It's more about accessibility. And it's time that we start thinking about our multiplayer game launches across all platforms as one holistic approach. Cross-platform in this place can't be an afterthought anymore, which it is quite often today. Essentially, you're all awesome developers here, and you've harnessed the power of these multi-platform, multi-device experiences with quality that is actually starting to approach console and the power in people's hands. Now more than ever, it is critical for a platform in a cross-play story that we look at mobile first as well, especially when we have predictions of 2.2 billion games being downloaded by 2025. Cross-platform gaming with mobile in the mix cannot be denied. I think I've said cross-play too much now, so I'll stick to try and at least getting rid of that for the next few slides. But the next data set I have here explores the types of genres people want to play. And it's clear that casual gaming still reigns supreme in the mobile game space, but it's hard to deny here that there is an appetite for more immersive and action-based experiences. 46% of all gamers surveyed play MOBAs on their mobile devices, with 39% of RTS gamers playing on the go as well. Gamers always want more. I've already said it, I'm a gamer, I always want more. I always want the next incredible title that you guys are going to develop, and they always want it to exceed their expectations as well. So holding on to the theme of gamers always demanding more from their experiences, the next question really comes down to how do you all deliver them? And surprisingly, because it's a talk from Unity, I'm going to tell you how Unity can help you with some of these things. So we look at the multiplayer tech stack as three core pillars. It's the creation of your game, it's then the connection of your players, and then empowering the player communication and communities off the back of that as well. So first comes that spark of inspiration. You prototype, you work into Greenlight, you build your vertical slice. And then the culmination of your creativity starts to come to bear. In short, you're building your next multiplayer, like amazing game that comes off the back of that. I'm excited because I love video games. I keep saying it, but I really do love video games. Hey, Mario's on my chest here, but what I'm trying to say is I already want to play that new title that you're building. And we have a really, really strong foundation for you to build on from all perspectives. So Unity is known for its engine, but we are so much more. And I'm talking about the reason why I personally got into games and quite a few other people in this room as well. And that's the back-end services. It's the infrastructure and orchestration required to power your next experience. They need to be battle-tested and provide a near flawless launch experience for you as possible and for your players as well. We power some of the world's biggest games with this tech today, and now we're making it more accessible than ever and self-service as well, providing services for matchmaking, relay, lobby, fully scalable server infrastructure and orchestration, all with consumption-based billing and solution management rolled into it as well. And one of the things that I like to call out, which I think is really, really important, is these services can all be used together as like a single ecosystem or individually driven by your needs. So think of this as you go into a restaurant and they give you this big menu. Rather than you having to go, cool, I'm going to go for the sort of all-you-can-eat offering, you can also go for the a la carte, I just want these two items as well, and that's how we've built our whole tech stack. So with this tech stack, we're also trying to focus on allowing you to make an incredible game, achieving that intangible factor of the one more go syndrome. Like any game which someone says, I just want one more go, you know you've got a winner. Because of people will stay up until the depths of the night trying to play your game again and again. And that's, in my mind, how you win as developers. So I mentioned a few different services, but let's look at the practicality depending on the type of game you're building. We talk about online games. They come in many different forms, and they have many, many different inherent difficulties in the challenges that are presented in how you build them. Depending on your title, you might be considering a peer-to-peer model, or you might have requirements for a dedicated game server as well. And there are many factors that come into play for your choice: the player count, what type of player interaction you're building. Is it cooperative versus competitive? Do you need cheat mitigation? And one of those things that always comes into the mix, what is the budget that you have in order to achieve your online presence for your game? The path you go down isn't a limiting factor. I've seen titles migrate from peer-to-peer to dedicated server, and in some cases they've hybridized between using a dedicated server and a peer-to-peer model at the same time, depending upon the game modes that you're supporting. This is the nature of a live service game, right-sizing your solution as you grow or iterate your living game to hit all of those requirements and maintain an excellent player experience. So we talked a little bit about hosting models. How do you actually get players into a session? We've got that covered for you with our lobby and matchmaker offerings. All that comes down to the type of experience you're building as to which offering is best set for your actual game. For lobbies, we have lobby codes, and they're a popular way and highly efficient way for getting people into games fast. You can actually pass this around social media, or you can share it directly via text message. People can just jump in and start playing together. And then alternatively, we have matchmaking, which can streamline the experience for your players, giving them really fast access to the action from a pool of players globally. And that can all be matched in with quality of service, latency, and understanding how to group your players based on a certain set of criteria. It's the bedrock of how your player involvement actually happens online, and based on the way that you choose the model for how you group your players, what the best method is, it will all come down to what you want to achieve, as I mentioned. And the flexible tooling that we have allow you to actually build this and try these options out while you're developing, rather than you having to commit straight away. The final pillar that we've got here is communication, and I'm going to steal a tagline from one of our services that I've always liked. Communication is critical. And that's from our VivOps product back in the day. But for online games, cooperative or competitive, there's no truer statement. And this is proven out that over 3/4 of online gamers are using communication platforms to plan the best strategy, find friends, and settle old rivalries while they game. This does come with its own share of challenges, though. As communities grow from large volumes of people playing together, there has been a parallel rise in toxicity as well, and that needs to be managed, mitigated, and we at least need to build some community tooling around how we help you guys manage this within your large communities that you build. So, with close to 70% of gamer surveys noting that they had either experienced toxicity themselves or that they had been witness to it, community safety is just as important as low ping times, in my opinion. We must strive to provide safe places for the diverse communities that we build for around the games that we all play. Promoting a positive environment for our community and your community to grow is essential. And we are building tools to help you and your community manage, report, and reduce this toxic behavior as well. I hope we'll all be able to share more on this soon, but we're not quite there yet. It's part of one of our recent acquisitions. We're building these tools to help manage that sort of toxicity behavior. So, summary of the 3 pillars. Create your game with a build once, deploy anywhere mindset. Connect your players together and launch your live service game with confidence on battle-tested technology, letting you focus on building your next amazing game. And then allow them to build safe communities, empowering them with the ability to communicate cross-platform with ease. I do have some other little nuggets of data as well, just because I thought you guys might like more data. I'm not going to read all these numbers here, but I don't think it comes as any surprise that players want lightning fast matchmaking, easy matchmaking with their friends, or matching with their friends. Cheating is bad. Funny that. It's also a form of toxicity from another way of looking at it. And making online friends should be easy, provided it's safe, and they want tools to help build those communities as well. Gamers mostly just want to play. They don't want to deal with toxicity. Adding features to help your communities to curtail this is a must. Ultimately, the list goes on, but the right blend of tools and services can help craft a truly incredible game for your players to experience. Talking of tools, we have some others here for you as well that are focused on different stages of your game's development lifecycle. I won't go too deep into these, but just to give you an idea. These are developer-focused services to help hone your new title, using analytics to really understand what your players are engaged with, and more importantly, what they're not, allowing you to focus on what to build next to keep your audiences engaged. Then use our content delivery network to A/B deploy and test these different scenarios that you build out to find out which work the best, but also to see which ones work in which geographies as well. And you can actually split out your experiences and the way that you deploy to test in different geographies as well. Excuse me. And then the final one, which can be kind of bifurcating in any audience, is monetization. You've built your amazing game, you've built your monetization organically alongside it, and that allows you to continue to fund new titles and future development of your existing titles. The one thing I don't have on this board is our fantastic consultancy team. They actually come in, they will tear down games, not just from an economy perspective, but also from a game loop, from a scalability perspective. They want to help you understand what's going on inside your game and how you can maximize its potential. You're all hoping I'm done by now. I'm nearly there, but I just got a few other short items to go through. With so many components, we wanted to create an ecosystem where they can be used harmoniously or individually. We've talked about this ecosystem, UGS. It's called Unity Game Services. It's a solution that's free to get started on, test out, and then make the best decisions for your next title. These services and tools are only the beginning. I'm going to show you a slide that's a bit overwhelming. Oh, they made it better. So, okay, fair enough. But from voice and text communications, economy management, dedicated server solutions and analytics, remote config, cloud content delivery, mediation, and in-app purchases, there's a lot. There's a lot going on. And there's more that we can't share just yet. And our main goal at Unity in 2022 is to invest in building the ideal tech stack for multiplayer game developers. And we all know that UNet's horrible when it's going away and it's been deprecated too early, etc. But we made a major milestone in the last quarter of last year towards building netcode for game objects, and that's continuing to evolve as well. At Unity, we've always talked about the democratization of game development, presenting you with an engine to innovate and iterate with. And with UGS, we are building on that ethos and folding it into all of the services you need to bring a multiplayer experience to your players. Just as gaming is always evolving, so is the way we build. We are truly excited to see what you can all create as you embrace these offerings. And I know together that we can empower your success. Just, thank you for listening. Please come and say hi if you'd like, and more people. And most importantly, keep making amazing games.
Thank you, Larry. That was great, and a real, as you kind of summarised there, important reminder that Unity is, not just the game engine that powers so many games. I think it's like 60% of all games or something. Incredible.
60, 70, 80. It depends who you ask.
Yeah. But also all the behind-the-scenes services as well. So that's exactly great. Does anyone? We've got a couple of minutes. Does anyone have any questions for Larry while we're here? Here we go. Thank you.
Hi, Larry.
Hi there.
Can you give examples of a few games that are using the Unity tech stack for multiplayer completely?
Completely end-to-end.
Cross-platform, ideally.
I think because where UGS is as a platform, that ecosystem only became sort of closed alpha and then beta last year, most of the games that are being developed on top of it right now, they're not launched yet. As we move from this perspective of I've heard different connotations of mobile games can be made in 3 months. When you're building a multiplayer experience, I don't think that's the case anymore, especially on the more sort of real-time type games. So I can't say any today, but there are ones that are being developed on it. And I would expect to see them in the next 18 months to 3 years.
Great, thank you. Thank you for your question. What I suggest is if anyone has any questions to follow up with Larry or the Unity team, they seek them out here, look them up on Meet to Match or find them online. So look, again, thank you very much, Larry.
Thank you, everyone.